go. Hey. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Outside the Cinema, your weekly source for cult movie discussions. We're your hosts. I'm Bill. That's Chris.
Yep.
How is everyone doing today? Great. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Matter.
As far as we know, everybody's
Happy
doing
holidays.
fine.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Kwanzaa, Festivus, Hanukkah, all of the above. Hope you're having a great holiday season.
Yeah.
We are back for another show. We're going to talk about a couple. What? Whoa, we're not back for another show.
No, we're not. But did you release the one we did with the Dybbuk? Because that one's out, right?
No.
I can't keep track of these.
No. That one's next week.
Okay, well, I'm going to say one thing before that because this actually works better. There was one page in a book that they show somebody, and one of the mythological characters is called the Witch of Endor. Now, everybody thinks I'm going to go Return of the Jedi on this, right? But there's this band called Bloody Hammers that sings a song called Witch of Endor, and it's fucking amazing. I love it.
Cool.
So if there's a lesser known band that I can work into the show, I'll do it. I like them. I like them a lot. It's they're a little spooky performative kind of thing, but in a B movie kind of way. They're fun.
I mean, is there any spooky performative type groups that aren't in a B movie sort of way?
Yeah, Marilyn Manson was.
No, he's still like schlocky B movie.
Yeah, but it's like a 90s video.
And also a rapist. So.
Oh, is he? Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. See,
Oh, yeah.
He matters so little to me. I forgot all about that because I don't think about him until now.
The documentary that his ex-wife or ex-fiance, I don't know if they ever got married. And our name, and I keep saying they right now because her name is totally. She was on True Blood. She was in 13.
Yeah. Evan.
What is her name?
Evan
Rachel Wood?
Yes.
Evan Rachel Wood. She did that 2-part documentary on Max a couple years ago where like she basically outed him as like a serial abuser and stuff. And some of the stories she told, like, I'm like, Manson, of course, is like, she's making it all up.
Yeah.
And like the strange thing is like, some of Manson's other exes have come out and like come to his defense. Like Dita Von Teese came out and was like, not to his defense, but she was like, well, I was with him for however many years it was, and I never had any experiences like that.
That doesn't mean it didn't happen. That's the thing.
No,
like,
exactly. And that's
yeah, she's a different person. He could have reacted differently to her. She might have been stronger, or he felt he didn't need to exert control, so it didn't happen. He was never married to Evan Rachel Wood.
Okay.
Lindsay.
Okay, I wasn't sure if they had gotten married or not. They were together for a few years.
They were. And I know I didn't watch that because I like her a lot. She was great on Westworld. I love it when she pops up on What We Do in the Shadows. And I don't want to hear bad stuff happen to her. That'd just make me sad.
Yeah. I'll tell you though, she comes off in the documentary very good. Like she comes off very good, very genuine, very, very well spoken, very smart. Like, and he comes off like, and obviously he isn't there to defend himself, but like he comes off like an idiot. Like,
So I don't think he is an idiot. He's just, you get to this point where you're just completely out of touch with reality, the reality of everybody around you. And that's probably where superstardom, because he has got him.
Oh, huge. Huge.
I will say.
And she kind of talks about that, how when he got really big, like he changed.
After Columbine, when What's-His-Face did that documentary, Bowling for Columbine, I really appreciated his answer when they said, what would you say to people that criticize your music? And he's like, I'd just listen. I wouldn't say anything. They need to talk. Or something along those lines. And I'm like, all right, that's the smartest thing that dumb motherfucker could have said. And then it just went downhill from there. But that was also, 25 years ago?
Right. Well, and also remember, think about how many people over the last number of years of people that we thought were like genuine good people, and like then something comes out and you're like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
My point I was going to make though is like I follow a lot of bootleg T-shirt people on Instagram, and there's always somebody doing Marilyn Manson boots, and I just don't understand why people are still peddling his stuff out there.
I can I could kind of understand. Like, if you're not paying for the license and you're making money off of his likeness and you're pissed at him because he's a fucking piece of shit, you're one-upping him even though he doesn't know it. So there's a little bit of satisfaction.
Right, but who's wearing that shirt? Like,
oh,
you know what I mean?
You know what? If I had have known, if I was a time traveler, I would have bought a Red Hat company back in 2015 or 10, and then I would be set. I don't care who I'm selling them to. They're just self-identifying as racist assholes.
Yeah.
So buy them. I don't care. I'll just make money. My wife works at a place that is diametrically opposed to my worldview, but we make money off of it, and it's funny. But yeah, no, there's still. I mean, you're asking. Sorry, I haven't laughed in a couple of days. You're asking who's still.
I'm glad we can bring that to
who's
you.
still wearing Marilyn Manson merch, and I'm thinking, who the fuck is voting for Trump? People are still doing it.
It's a really good point,
Right?
man.
So on the scale of
good point.
the fall of our culture and country as we know it, Marilyn Manson is like just like a blood drop on the tampon of life.
Before we get into the show for this week, I do have to ask you: have you watched the trailer for that Civil War movie?
I am not going to watch that. No, I watched the trailer and I am not watching the movie. I can't. It gave me anxiety watching it because
I agree.
It was that last scene. I'm an American. What kind? Fuck that. That's too close to what they want to do after the election. Not a fan. Although the most unbelievable part of that whole movie is that Texas and California teamed up. The fuck?
I know. I almost want to see it just to find out how that happened.
Yeah. I'll read
Arizona's the bridge.
I'll read the plot thing on Wikipedia and get the breakdown. You know what?
Fair.
Good for them. They made a movie that's the first movie that's made me absolutely uncomfortable. That's an achievement on their part. So good for you guys. Maybe one day I'll watch it, but I'm not clamoring for it.
No, same here.
Sorry, what was your point?
This week.
Why did you ask? Did you have something to say?
My point was I just asked if you'd if you'd seen the trailer.
I didn't know if you had anything else beside that. I didn't want to steamroll it.
Nope, not really.
It looks well made.
All right, on the show this week, Christmas horror film, It's a Wonderful Knife, which is available to watch on Shudder. And then the other flick we're covering is Totally Killer, which is available to watch on Prime. Both releases are 2023 releases. This is the final week of new release reviews on the show. Well, actually, no, that's not true. Next week is the final week.
Oh, yeah.
But we've already recorded that episode. And you'll know because I played Scott's segments in the wrong episodes. So you'll get the segment that was supposed to be played in next week's episode today, and the one that was supposed to be played the other one. Fucking a nightmare, man. And he labeled them properly. Do not play this on the show that you're recording early with the episode numbers and everything. Nope, still did it wrong.
He's going to label them incorrectly next time, and you're still going to read the wrong one.
I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't. I'm awful. I am terrible.
Yeah.
Yes, we're doing this. It's a Wonderful Knife, which is a Christmas horror film. We haven't done any Christmas horror films this year. This is available to watch on Shudder. Let's take a listen to the trailer. Why don't we? Wait, I probably have it.
Angel
All right.
Falls, I give you Christmas.
The lights are so pretty. This is perfect.
What did you eat?
Please wake up. Mayor Waters? Last Christmas still haunts me.
Time to let that go.
No one cares. Everyone would be better off if I was never born. Did you see that? Did the power go out? Oh my God. I stood under the aurora and said everyone would be better off if I never existed. Well, wish granted.
The angel strikes every couple of weeks.
How can that be?
Do I know you?
It's Winnie. You know that.
Okay. This her?
Hi. Hi, I'm Henry Waters. You're safe now. He's not gonna get you.
No one in this town knows me.
Who are you?
Dad. You weren't around to stop him, so he just kept going. He likes killing.
I'm here now. Let's have some fun. Hey, you.
Hey. Merry Christmas. We gotta stop him. And get my life back.
You'll be safe now. Leave.
Okay. It's a Wonderful Knife, starring Jane Widdrup, Joel McHale, Justin Long, Jess McLeod, Catherine Isabel, and more. It is written by Tyler McIntyre and directed by Tyler McIntyre and written by Michael Kennedy. Tyler McIntyre also directed Tragedy Girls, and he did one of the VHS 99 segments.
Oh. I'll have to see.
I don't remember which one.
I'll look it up.
So he's been working. He also worked on the Five Nights at Freddy's screenplay.
Oh. Okay.
Among other things. Tragedy Girls I really like, though.
Yeah.
So the story of this is it's pretty simple. It's essentially It's a Wonderful Life retold is kind of a slasher film. After saving her town from a psychotic killer, Winnie Carruthers' life is less than wonderful. When she wishes she'd never been born, she finds herself in a nightmare parallel universe where without her, things could have been much, much worse.
Yeah.
So I think there's not really a lot of spoilers in this. The trailer, if you watch the trailer, they kind of give you who the killer is, like served up right off the bat. Oh, which segment
The
was it?
Medusa one. With the kids putting the webcam in her house so they can watch her take her top off.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
It was a good idea, but yeah, there were some things I didn't like in that. But this shows that that he's very competent. Very good director. This movie we're talking about now.
Oh, does it?
Yes. In my opinion, it does.
Okay, well, the story starts off.
Oh my God.
With a murder at a party, and this killer who's wearing a pseudo Christmas angel outfit, dressed all in white with like a white plastic mask that has no facial features.
But it's got the hint.
It's kind of an interesting look.
It's almost it reminds me of how much of the skull you can see through the original Xenomorph's head in the movie. Like it's there, you know something's behind it, but it's a nice shiny like pearlescent front. Really, I love the design of this bad guy.
Yeah, it's interesting because he's dressed all in white, and no matter how many people he murders, is always white. So.
No, he did get covered at one point because that was what I'm like, he's gonna stay clean the whole fucking time, stabbing people.
But like in between murders is more what I mean. Like he must have like a really good detergent to get those blood stains out.
Or he bought a lot of those costumes.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm okay with that though.
So the film starts out with a murder at a party, and Winnie, our main character, manages to kill the killer. But her best friend has been murdered, and life in town has just been turned upside down. So the murderer is Mayor Waterford, who's played by Justin Long, and he's so slimy and good in the role. He's got the chiclet teeth going, and like
it took me a while.
The extra tan.
It took me a while to realize that his mouth was wrong because he had terrible veneers for this movie as the character, because it changes
totally
the way
works.
your mouth sits on your face and how you talk.
Right. So he's like the town big shot business guy who's looking to tear down all the old shops and build the fucking strip mall or whatever it is. Like he's gonna and Winnie's father works for him, played by Joel McHale, and like he basically runs his life. So after he's murdered, everything kind of changes, and it changes for the better for everybody except for Winnie.
Yeah.
she feels like she's now like ostracized. She doesn't have her best friend anymore. She doesn't understand why her parents don't pay more attention to her, which is true because they definitely are paying more attention to her brother, who was the one that she saved from the murderer.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting dynamic there.
And the dad's business partner for his realty business.
Yeah. So she basically just gets all pissed off because she's depressed. I shouldn't say she gets all pissed off because she's depressed. She's depressed and she's angry about it and she doesn't really know what to do.
And she also murdered somebody. That
Yes.
weighs on you, I would imagine.
I would think so.
He says pretending he's never murdered anyone.
I mean, it didn't bother me to like the third or fourth one.
I mean, it's the first one that's really the toughest.
I didn't think so. You just got to make sure you kill somebody you don't like.
Well, that's that, but
and nobody else likes.
But yeah, that's the key. That's the key. It can't just be somebody you don't like because then you're caught right away.
Right. So, so she's got all of this stuff weighing on her, and she's out on the waterfront of the town, and the Aurora Borealis is going full steam. She basically makes the wish of like, I wish, I'd never been born or whatever, something along those lines.
Yeah.
And clickety clack, boom, it happens.
And this was this was brilliant. I have to hand it to the story, the writers. Can I go with this part here?
Yeah, go for it.
So the lights go out where she is on the little viewing platform for the beach, I guess, for the water. And she calls out hello, turns around and starts to walk back home. And there's a drunk guy leaning up against the side of a building. And she calls to him, "Hey, are you okay?" He turns around, bleeding. And then the angel pops out. And you instantly know that because she wasn't born, he's not dead. And that was the best villain resurrection I have ever seen in my life.
No fucking around.
So fast.
Immediately.
So fast. Yeah. I loved it. And from that point on, I'm like, all right, you got me. I'm in. Here we go.
Yeah. So then she has to try to kind of navigate her way through this world. And, it takes her a little while to get up to speed that nobody knows her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be a hard thing to realize.
To really comprehend. Yeah, to really comprehend. But the town is now like in a whole different place. Like Waterford has taken over everything and anything. He runs the whole place. They keep saying they call him the Angel Murderer, and the Angel Murderer kills people once every couple weeks. They're talking about.
Yeah.
Her brother has been murdered. A bunch of other people that she knows has been killed, and she's now trying to figure out what's going on. Mm-hmm. One other thing I will give this movie, I had some issues with this. I'm not gonna say that I didn't. I definitely had some issues with it. But why is my doctor calling me right now? Here, talk for a minute, Chris. I got to take this.
Okay, so I had forgotten that Joel McHale was in this movie, and I've only ever really watched him in Community. And there's a little bit of drama going on in Community, but it's a comedy show. And bringing Joel McHale in should indicate that this is going to be funny. But the surprising thing about it was that Joel actually delivered a very nuanced performance for a father that lost his son. The interaction between the two of them with the daughter, who's not his daughter. It's really, it was kind of heart-wrenching. I might have not been ready for seeing the way the family would act when she's part of it and when she's not. It was jarring and kind of interesting. There is the I'm sure Bill will say that stuff was whatever. I'm not going to guess what he's going to say, but he is still on the phone with his doctor, so I guess I'll keep talking about stuff. The look of the killer in this, in art school and in every concept book, art book, and every time you hear about costuming and props for movies and TV, you want to have an quickly identifiable silhouette. So like R2-D2 looks different than R5-D4. Darth Vader looks different than Ben, even though they have cloaks. That whole thing. The Angel Killer is unique in that way. You got the hood, you got the mask, but the shoulders are a little pointed, and it's very flowy, and it's a very nice white material that they used, and it was surprising. I was talking with my kids about, what else can horror movies do to give you a memorable bad guy. And the last one, talking with my kids, the last memorable looking bad guy that's new that I can think of at this point right now, because I haven't seen Thanksgiving, but he's just a fucking pilgrim, was Art the Clown. But this one, the Angel, is very memorable. I was very, very happy with the silhouette and all of that, and how the character looked. They put thought into it, which was nice. Bill's back, so I can stop talking.
Yeah. So I might have to jump out again in a second.
Okay.
They're going over my CT scan results, and they're trying to decide whether they want to do the colonoscopy tomorrow or if they want to wait. Obviously, I missed everything you said.
I was
just telling you were talking about that.
I was just talking about how the character looked. I was trying to stay off of plot stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique look for sure. For sure.
Oh, I had mentioned Joel McHale and his dramatic turn in this.
Yeah, he does a good job in this. And they kind of flip the script on everything too when he's, implemented into some things. I don't really necessarily want to give any of those specifics away. Right. But like it works. Mm-hmm. And I think in the lead works too. She's good, she's believable.
Yeah.
And a lot of the characters are definitely stereotypes in this, a lot, especially the other teenage characters. But again, that works for what they're doing, because this is a time travel parallel universe holiday slasher. Yeah. It's not like, we're not rooting stuff in reality here, so you can kind of get away with a lot of stuff that you wouldn't get away with otherwise. Right. And I think they did a good job in this with kind of, being fantastical while also still trying to keep, emotional reality intact, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Before we go further, I want to give credit to somebody that I didn't expect to I don't expect to see this person really ever, because I don't know why, but Catherine Isabel is in this, and she's fantastic. She has great comedic timing, and she's awesome. And she knows how to be a scream queen on camera. She was.
Yeah, I think it's really unfair that she hasn't gotten more work over the years. I know she does a lot of work, but like she should have more lead roles. I mean, she was great in American Mary. Obviously, she's the lead in one of the leads in Ginger Snaps.
Yep.
And yeah, she's excellent in this.
Yeah, that was great. She branched out a little bit from the other stuff that we've seen her in. There's comedy and drama in these roles. Not that there weren't in the other ones, but it's a different level because it's more of a personal family thing. And yeah, that was nice. She was good. I appreciated seeing her because I liked her when she showed up in Freddy vs. Jason. That was fun. She was fun.
So she plays Winnie's aunt. And one thing that I thought was really interesting, and me calling it out probably defeats the purpose of them doing it, but I'm going to. She plays the lesbian aunt for Winnie, and her significant other or partner is there, and she has a large
that's a birthmark, I think.
Birthmark on her face, and it's a very noticeable thing, but nobody ever mentions it.
No, you know why?
Like it's not used. Why?
The actress has that. That's her face.
Right.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is like, and they didn't make like, that's the type of thing where like, you're waiting for the joke.
Right. Because, it's not the 80s anymore. So we're not going to make fun of things that people can't control. Right.
Right. But it was a very obvious choice to cast her despite the birthmark, which, and it wasn't done for like a shock thing or a comedic thing or anything like that. She was the right actress for the role and they went with it. And that was that.
Yeah. Because unless you're going for a specific look, it shouldn't matter. I like that. I
agreed.
The movie got a little more respect when I saw that they didn't just put it on her to make her stand out from other people. Like you give somebody pink hair and then you can see them all the time in the crowds and stuff. But no, that's just her, and she didn't hide it. There was no makeup, so That was very nice. That made me happy. Like it matters.
So, no, right. But and it's like the whole point of bringing it up defeats the purpose of them not mentioning it. But
No,
I
I
just thought it was nice because you'd expect that from a schlocky horror movie,
Yeah.
you would expect that to be a joke.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely fine to say the movie didn't make a joke or point this thing out. I think
Right.
it's fine for us to do it because other people may not notice but appreciate that we told them.
It's funny, and this I can relate that into this movie. What I'm going to say into this movie too, because we were watching. Mel and I were watching. I was going to say Mom and I because I feel like I'm talking to Travis for some reason. What I'm saying is you're childish, Chris.
I know.
So Mel and I were we were watching something, and it was one of the movies. I think it might have been Attachment. I was watching, and she was in the room, and I was like, there's a lesbian couple that do this, and this, and I'm like, I'm like, everybody's gay in movies now, and she looks at me and she goes, Bill, everybody's gay now, and I stopped for a second, and I'm like, yeah, we are all a little bit gay. I think this because I didn't really think about it when I said it, just because I feel like everything we've been watching has like a large number of gay or bisexual characters in it, which I still like. I'm kind of surprised at how prevalent it's become because I am old enough to remember when Roseanne's sister had a lesbian kiss on TV and it was like the world was going to end.
Yeah.
And now you have entire casts of films cast with, gay, straight, bisexual characters, and it's not a thing.
No, it's not, because gay people and trans people exist. So why wouldn't they be in movies? They factor into people's lives.
And they do a turn in that with this film where the main character, Winnie, has a boyfriend, and the boyfriend ends up cheating on her and ends up with somebody else. But then she falls for the girl that's helping her.
Yep.
And like, it's not like, they're not like, there's no point where they're like talking to her and she's like, I don't know, maybe I'm bisexual. Like, it just happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
It did. Yeah, exactly. And much like the birthmark thing, it just happens, and it's just part of the character and it's part of the story. And it's just, it was so nice to see that and have it not be a thing.
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny that you bring that up because Nova, my daughter Nova, who likes to go by Finn, but I just can't do. That's her nickname at school or whatever. So whatever. I got the pronouns down. I'm good. Nova's non-binary, but she's also bisexual, which I think is really funny. Not in a mean way. Like, you're non-binary, but you're bisexual, so there's two, you know what I mean? It's it's funny to my stupid brain. Anyway, so she dated a girl for a little bit that didn't work out. That's fine, whatever. But then Yeah. And now she's dating this other kid, this boy, and it's just, you like who you like, and that's it. What does it matter if you're not hurting somebody?
Yeah.
If they're not hurting you, shut the fuck up about it, I think is better than they're not hurting anybody, leave them alone.
Right. And I think that's a better argument than the one that even, and I'm guilty of using the, like, I don't care what you do, just don't make me see it. Like, and that doesn't work anymore either.
No.
Now it's like, if you're not hurting anybody, that's what matters.
Right. Because how many straight sex scenes have people had to watch over the last 120 years in movies, we'll say?
Yep. 100%, man.
Yep.
100%.
I mean,
there's two of them.
John Wayne played Genghis Khan. Okay. I was almost alive when the first interracial kiss was on TV. Like, what the fuck?
Interracial, not homosexual, interracial.
Kirk and Uhura. Yeah. Interracial. Yep.
Was that really the first one on TV?
Yes. And
wow.
And I was just reading
that
today that what's her face there, Nichelle Nichols was going to quit after the first season. And of all people, Martin Luther King Jr., who was a fan of the show, met up with her, specifically went to go talk to her and said, tell her he was a fan and everything. And she said, well, I'm not going to go back. And he said, you have to. And she's like, what? And she said, your role is not the role of an African-American woman. You're an equal person on that bridge. And this is the first time Black people have been shown as equals, because Roddenberry's utopia was equality and no capitalism. It sounds fucking awesome. And she realized, oh my God, I have a responsibility now. And she stayed, and she's super important in Black history. And that's awesome. And people fucking hated it. And I hate them for hating it. Because why? Why? What does it matter? Oh, two people kiss. You know what? Guess what? Black people and white people kiss. Black people and Asian people kiss. Oh my God, what the fuck? Who cares? Who fucking cares? Are you happy? Great. Are you hurting anybody? No. Unless they ask for it and it's consensual. Fine. You know, it's... I know with my mental conditions, I'm very black and white with as far as like justice and equality come. It's either you're either doing it or you're not. And this is one of those things that I can't compromise on, because whose business is it of yours to tell my daughter what to do, or to tell my other daughter that she can't have an abortion if she's raped at 16 years old?
Right.
Fuck off. I'm so disgusted with everything I see, and that's not helping my mental health journey. But I'm not going to get into specifics because I like having a job and all that stuff. So,
Right.
But there's a lot of disgusting shit going on out there, and I like the fact that Hollywood is just like, no, here they are. They've always been here. They've always been in theater, in TV, everywhere. So why not? The only problem, I think, is when you try to shove it in there and it doesn't work. Like, I don't know. Going back, I don't know how this works, but I remember the Supergirl show, and Supergirl's sister was either gay or bisexual, and she was a minor character at the time. And I was like, what? Why does that matter? Why are you bringing up? She doesn't have, there's not, what? Why? It felt forced because we had 3 seasons of the person like acting different.
Right.
But you know what? I don't care. If it helps somebody, if it made somebody happy, fine. My opinion has changed since then. But that's what I was thinking then. Yeah. Yeah. And it's not that there's more gay people or trans whatever people or whatever. It's that you're being shown more. It's just like everybody that says, oh, the world's terrible now. No, motherfucker. The world's always been terrible. You just get to see it instantly because of the internet. Right. So
it's true.
Yeah. So a lot of bad stuff happened to this girl in this movie, which we should get back to.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, I mean, we've kind of said a lot of this. I mean, some of the, there's no real kills in this that are overly interesting.
No.
Which I found kind of surprising, because it is a slasher movie and it's a fantastical one. So like, I felt like the kills in this could have been stepped up quite a bit, and they're really very simple.
Yeah, but a human being is doing it, so there are limitations at that point, I would say. It's not like...
a human being's doing it in a world where someone could wish themselves out of existence and travel to a parallel universe, so...
Yeah, but nobody else knows that. You know?
The girl that's helping her does.
She didn't know it. She had to research it and figure it out.
Good point.
You know?
Good point.
I mean, there very well could be magic in this world, and I have no fucking idea because, you know, I'm a grown up, or you know, I'm not in the right area of the world, or I'd like to believe that's the truth. I don't think it is, but I'd like to believe it. But yeah, I mean, he's got the killer has to come in, kill him, and get away. There's no time for giant setups, freezing people in liquid nitrogen and shit.
Yeah. So the only other thing I think that I want to make mention before we kind of get to grade that kind of I think might have hurt the film just a little bit is it's very short. It's only about an hour and 26, 27 minutes long, which doesn't leave us any time for anything other than Winnie's main story. Like, there's some nice stuff that's kind of hinted at within like family dynamics of some people and some other characters, but we don't ever really get to see any of it because it's so hyper focused, which I think is a plus and a minus. We don't get bogged down with side stories that don't need to be told. But at the same time, it all feels very flimsy and shallow in some points.
It's just here's a quick story that you matter. Yeah. Because it feels like that is what the whole thing is. I mean, if you wish yourself to never exist, you've essentially killed yourself. But they I wouldn't say they doubled down on it, but that part that that I'm talking about, like, hit me like a brick in the head, because it was just it's exactly how I would have said it if I was going to say something like that. Just casual off the cuff, like, hey, you don't know what you did, but you know, and it felt so. I could identify with that girl, Bernie, way more than I thought I would initially. But yeah, no. So that was great. It made me kind of upset because it is about family and how family treats you, and how siblings are treated differently, and the parents don't even realize it. That was the nice secondary story in the thing that not secondary, but it's the driving force to do the movie. I don't know.
All right, Chris, do you recommend what is your grade for It's a Wonderful Knife?
Well, I was in a good mood. So I'm gonna recommend this. Absolutely, even if I was in a bad mood. But this did way more than I thought it was going to do. I thought with the people in it, I thought it was just going to be a simple, here's a nightmare scenario for somebody. We're gonna make it gross, and we're gonna entertain you, and it's not going to mean anything. But this actually has some soul to it at the end. Because you got to build it. Your characters need to earn it.
Right. Right.
But that really, it hit me. It surprised me. And the way the whole thing resolves, I know a lot of people probably aren't going to like it, but there is reason for it to happen, I think. And I like that. I like that that's where it went. So I'm going to give it an A-. This is fun. This is in the same boat for me as Anna and the Apocalypse.
Less songs though.
Well, yeah. But this is it's a holiday movie. It's got a nice underlying message, but they do it in a different way. And some of the stuff they thought about with if I didn't exist, what would happen? Like some of the stuff, it's just they had good people. They had good minds thinking about this stuff, and that impressed me. Anytime you can do something different with a parallel dimension or time travel and it makes sense within the movie, I'm impressed, because that's an old trope. That's it.
Okay. I agree with you for the most part, and I am going to recommend it. I'm not going to give it as high a recommend as you, but I am going to recommend it. For a silly holiday slasher flick, it's good. It's good. It's not great. There is I feel like I was just kind of wanting more, and with the extravagant look of the killer and the different look of the killer and the fact that they're dressed all in white, I could have got down with a couple of really creative, crazy slasher kills in this, because it would have worked so white with the blood splurting onto the white angel. But that's more a me thing than a movie thing, I guess. The only other real kind of issue I had with it is it does feel a little bit hollow emotionally for me. It didn't hit me the way I don't think it hit you. Which
that's
is
fair.
That's maybe more of a me thing than a movie thing. But if I'm going to, review and grade the film, I have to do it on how I feel about it.
Yeah.
So.
And everybody's experiences are going to differ. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So I liked it. I don't want to make it sound like I didn't like it. I did like it. I enjoyed it. And this is definitely one that I feel could go into the rotate. What am I talking? I don't have a Christmas horror movie rotation.
You don't?
I don't know.
No, I got a few that I watch, and that's about it. I don't purposely think about it, I guess is what I would say.
Yeah. Anyway, but I did enjoy it. I'm going to give it a B-, bordering on a B. It was good, not great.
Okay.
If that makes any sense at all. Maybe it does. I don't know. So there you go. You can watch that on Shudder in the United States, and then you can watch it on a VPN from Shudder from the United States and other parts of the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our other review this week, which I switched the schedule up so that we could cover these two together because there are similar themes. This is a straight up time travel one. This is Totally Killer, which is an Amazon Prime flick. Here's a trailer.
I'd like to report a crime that hasn't happened yet. Have you seen the movie Back to the Future? Basically, I'm living that movie right now, which is how I know there's going to be a murder tonight.
Hate time travel movies. They never make any sense.
Happy Halloween. How about we all stay in and hand out Halloween candy?
No, Mom.
You know how hard this time of year is for us.
Your friends were murdered 35 years ago. It's not 1987 anymore.
Stay safe, honey. I love you.
What the fuck? Excuse me, what year is it?
1987.
Oh my God.
I know. The 80s are almost over and I haven't even tried Coke yet. I don't know.
Oh my God. Mom. Fuck off and die. Jesus, Mom. Mamacita. Ay. Ay, ay, ay. Mamacita.
Time for my birthday, bitch.
This is a creepy-ass cabin in the middle of fucking nowhere.
What's the big deal?
There's a murderer on the loose, and you drove us into the woods. Oh my God! What? I forgot to bring vodka.
You have 7.5 hours until you're stuck here forever.
I need to stop all this horror before it happens. Do the machines kill us all? No. They more just rip apart the fabric of our society via dance videos on TikTok. They use dance against us.
Come on out. The water's warm. Just so you know, I don't do blowjobs. You pee out of that thing.
Just think, maybe if she did do blowjobs, she'd still be alive.
Yeah, let's not make that the lesson. 80s weed sucks. This is just dirt. Look at all these twigs. I could give you a gummy this big that has 100 times more weed than this.
All right, Totally Killer. I'm gonna murder this director's name. Nahnatchka Khan.
Well, considering that's how you chose to say it, yeah. You'd be better off just doing the intro rap from the Shaka Khan song than trying to say his name.
I'm sorry, I tried. She worked on Always Be My Maybe and Fresh Off the Boat and American Dad.
Oh, okay.
And Young Rock. A lot of TV stuff. And that makes sense. That makes sense watching this. This definitely has a like slick TV feel to it and not in a bad way.
No. It's not a 90s thing.
No. Kieran Shipka plays Jamie Hughes. She's probably best known as the Sabrina from Sabrina's Chilling Adventures. Olivia Holt, Charlie Gillespie, Lachlan Monroe. Love Lachlan Monroe. Love him. He was the dad on, Betty Cooper's dad on Riverdale, and also my favorite role, I mean, he's been in a million things, but he was Greg in Scary Movie, and he was in White Chicks, but my favorite role he ever had was in that movie Dead Man on Campus.
Oh.
He played the like psycho roommate where they were trying to get him to like be their roommate because they're like, well, this we're gonna get A's because this dude's definitely gonna kill himself. He got to do one of my favorite lines ever in movies where he's like, I got some beers, let's drink them. That one's not beer.
What's his name again?
Lachlan Monroe.
Okay.
You know him. Like he's been in a million things.
I'm trying to find him in the, yeah.
He's been in a million things. He's the
as soon
best.
as I find him, yeah. Oh, yeah. So.
And then you got a couple of cameo appearances from Randall Park, Julie Bowen, a couple other people. So the story of this is you have Jamie Hughes. Her mother is a survivor of.
Him.
See, told you.
Yeah, I didn't know his name, but I know him from a lot of stuff.
I never knew his name until like a couple years ago. So when the infamous Sweet 16 killer returns 35 years after his murder spree to claim another victim, 17-year-old Jamie accidentally travels back in time to 1987, determined to stop the killer before he can start.
Yeah.
And that's about it. That's about it.
That's the basis of the movie.
And it works. What I do love about this movie, though, before we kind of get too deep into the weeds here, is this movie really knows how to work that line of horror and comedy. Like, it's a horror movie in the parts where it needs to be a horror movie, and it's a comedy in the part where it needs to be comedy.
Yeah.
And they don't really mix those things too much.
No.
Which is, I think, an issue with a lot of horror comedies that you see.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Horror comedy is so difficult to pull off.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. So Julie Bowen plays Jamie Hughes' mother. She was a survivor of the Sweet 16 murderer from 35 years prior. 3 of her friends were murdered, and then the killer disappeared. It's a big thing with the town. It's been for years. There's a guy that does the podcast about it, and he does like the walking tours with the killer and like all the stuff that you would expect, a la Scream sequel, like the Scream sequels.
Yeah.
Very much so, like in the wake of what happened in the first Scream movie. In the sequels, you get the movie and the all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Actually, Back to the Future meets Scream is a really good way to explain this. I had seen a couple places mention that.
It sounds stupid, but once you watch it, it makes a lot of sense. But initially, that would turn me off to the whole thing.
Right. Knowing the movie and like, okay, I can totally get it.
Yeah.
So Jamie's best friend is building a time machine for her science project because that's what they do. We find out that it's a situation where her mother had a bunch of plans and she was trying to get it to work, but then kind of gave up on her dreams of being a scientist. And the killer comes back. The killer comes back and chases her down, and she jumps into the machine, which is an old photo booth. The killer tries to stab her and misses, and it hits the electronics panel, and it sends her back in time to 1987.
Yep, that happens.
Lots of 80s jokes follow.
Yeah.
And then she kind of figures out where she is, and then she's like, well, if I can stop the killer before it starts, it'll write everything later on.
Right.
And it's kind of funny because she tracks down her friend's mother, who built the machine originally, and basically is kind of like, hey, so like if I do this and I stop this killer, is it going to create some crazy weird time paradox and I'm going to disappear? And she's like, no.
Yeah.
That's like the answer, just like, no.
Yeah. I loved how it was difficult for other people to get it, but for her, the woman building the time machine, her answer to the whole thing was, you don't start building a time machine and don't expect people to just show up from different times.
Right.
So she was fully committed to building, like that's it. That was a real thing that happens, that universe. Good. Okay. She understood, which shows how smart she is, that she doesn't freak out about it because she's like, I'm building a time machine. I guess it worked. So good. That saved so much aggravation in watching people fumble around.
Right. And it plays itself out in a really interesting way too, because as she like does the things to stop the killer changes the way he's doing things to continue killing, and it keeps the story moving along. I got a real kick out of it. I saw a couple of reviews that kind of called this out and were like, this is kind of tired, but like her basically literally being, a teenager from 2023 dropped into a 1987 movie.
Yeah.
And like her calling out all of the ridiculous things that are no longer PC. Like the first scene, she gets out of the time machine and a dude walks up wearing a shirt that says FBI. And it was a female boob inspector.
Yeah, it was a little bit more than female body inspector. Yeah. Yeah.
And she just looks at it and she's like, that shirt's offensive. And the girlfriend just looks at him and is like, I like your shirt.
Right. Right. And that
so they
yeah. Go ahead.
They go back to that type of humor a few times, like whenever they're like making fun of the fat kid, or they're they're being racist, or they're being homophobic. She continues to call it out every time, and I actually got a really good kick out of that, because you and I talk about it all the time when we cover movies that are outdated and how like the humor is just, it's not the same and you can't look at it the same way. So it was kind of cool to see a character,
Yeah.
you know, that is kind of, I would think, how most people would react to that stuff.
That
Not
age,
like you or I, but
absolutely, yeah.
of that age. Cause like, it's one thing if you kind of lived through it and you understand the place, but like her being like, I don't get any of this.
I don't know. Going back and watching that, the 80s people there, the kids, they were more or less accurate. But if I went back, I would just be disgusted. Honestly,
for sure. For sure.
Why did we call people those names? Why was gay and les? Why was all that? Why was that insults? Because we were idiots back then. We didn't know.
We didn't know. I mean,
or we didn't care, or I don't know. Yeah,
all the above.
Yeah,
it's all of the above.
Yep.
But I thought the 80s motif that they used and the aesthetic that they had, I thought it looked great. It felt good. The killer with the weird like Max Headroom-esque mask, I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, that was a good look. Because it was pretty 80s, but not specific.
Right. It wasn't like they were wearing a an
actual Max Headroom mask.
Yeah, right, yeah. So, but I like how she's like trying to move everyone around and she's getting resistance from everybody. Like you hear it in the trailer where when she meets her mom's younger self and she's like, oh, she was like, my mom's a bitch. Like they're like rude, but how she's able to work herself into everything without like having to be like, I'm from the future.
Right.
Because nobody's going to buy that. So she's like, she goes to the police and tries to explain that there's going to be a murder. And then the girl, the murder happens or whatever. And their friends are like, how did you know that was going to happen?
Right.
And she's like, cause I'm psychic. And they're like, oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Psychics were very big at the time.
Yeah.
We were
87.
all fooled. Yeah.
We all thought we knew what vision.
Yeah.
I see the letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P.
Yep.
I see the colors green, blue, red, and yellow.
Or any variations or derivative colors that make up those colors.
I see all the colors of a rainbow. You are in danger. What else? Where's some of the other parts that stuck out for you?
That the cops were like Italian cops in Giallos. They're like, fuck you, I don't care.
Oh, I thought you meant they were like Italian. I'm like,
No, I
can. Park is not Italian.
I recognized him. I know. I know what's going on there. No, but it was just like small town cop. Oh, there's never been a murder here. Well, now there has. Like, come on, fuckface. What are you doing? Like that small town. Mindset is how those 80s movies were.
Yeah.
Nothing happens here. Everything's great. Nothing bad ever happens. They were actually smart when they said, well, no murders happened till you showed up.
Yeah.
But, causation, correlation, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But she had to fight that. I thought that was interesting. That was a good thing to put in there. Because, you're saying people are going to die and now people are dying. Nowadays, you just get thrown in jail.
It's true. So this movie really kind of plays itself out in exactly the way you would expect it to. It's a fun ride. There's a nice kind of little twist at the end of it that you get. I like Kieran Shipka quite a lot. I haven't watched all of that Sabrina show, but I know when she was younger, she was the daughter on Mad Men.
Right, right.
And then she had a small arc on Riverdale also. So, but she's likable. She's believable. Olivia Holt, I thought as Pam was really good too. The mother, the younger version of the mother.
All of the younger versions were pretty well cast. Yeah, I was pretty impressed with that. Yeah,
my nose is itchy. Sorry. Yeah, I don't really. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about it without like ruining it. Like, I don't want to give away who the killer is or anything like that. So, but I have to say, I like the look, I like the feel, I like the soundtrack, I like the cast. This was a nice little surprise. I was honestly a little worried, after watching the trailer.
Yeah, I wasn't sure which way it was going to go, but that was nice.
Okay, all right. Sorry.
Every time.
Sorry. Chris, you recommend, and what is your grade for Totally Killer?
Yeah, I'm gonna recommend this. This was fun. This was actually a week where both movies were nice. Not like, oh, look how pretty it is. They were just overall nicely made, well acted, perfectly cast, all good. All good. So I'm gonna recommend this, and I'm gonna give it a B+.
Cool.
Yeah. I like the other one more, just a little bit more. I think because of the emotional impact it had for me at the end. But
that's actually, I was just going to ask you if you preferred one over the other. So I recommend this too. I enjoyed this. I actually like this more than the other one. It was easy to just kind of fall into it and not have to worry about like any emotional brevity or like anything like that. It was just fun for what it was. I thought they nailed the time travel stuff.
Oh yeah.
I like the science they used behind it in terms of, science that they used behind it.
Right.
It made sense for what they were doing. It moved pretty quickly.
Yep. It was just enough sci-fi stuff to have you say, okay, I get it.
Right.
And that's it. You didn't need more.
Yeah. This definitely falls in with like Happy Death Day is like, it's like that style of slasher film.
Yeah.
It was fun. I enjoyed it. I'm going to give it a B to B+ on this one.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was good.
Yeah. I'll probably watch both of these again. Maybe before the end of the year.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah. That's a pretty good recommend from me there. If I watch it again.
All right. So what do we think Joe watched?
Oh, jeez.
We know he's doing little known Christmas movies. So let's see what he says.
I can't, nothing.
Well, hello, Bill. Hello, Chris. And hello, OTC Nation. It's your boy Joe here. And this week I took myself to Wisconsin. So I made myself watch Blood Beat from 1982.
Oh, I like this one.
I love that there are still, in almost 2024, still weird old movies from the past that resurface and get a new life. Like, nobody had ever heard of Doom Asylum until the last few years when Arrow released an unfortunately pricey Blu-ray.
We covered it in OTC Year
Doom
1.
Asylum? Of course I do. Do I want to pay nearly $40 on a Blu-ray of it? No, sir, I do not. I'm not a cheapskate, but make that shit $19.99 and then we can talk. Blood Rage, Phantom of the Mall, The Miami Connection, Society. Hell, even better known films like John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness got a fresh coat of paint and a new audience thanks to companies realizing just how not small the cult movie audience is and capitalizing on it. That's not to say that a bad 80s horror film is better than a good modern horror film. It is to say that exploring earlier works can give you an appreciation for the genre as a whole. I said whole. Side note, I watched Doom Asylum recently on Tubi, and maybe there's a reason why that one sat in the back of a warehouse collecting dust for 30 years.
Oh yeah, it's not good.
Like, it's only worth watching for Patty Mullen in a barely there swimsuit. That whole rambling thing was just a long-winded way of saying that I had never heard of this movie, at least that I can remember, until I searched Bill's literal word-for-word directive to me. Lesser-known Christmas horror films. I found it on a list of lesser-known Christmas horror films. I had a couple on deck, but when I read a brief description of Blood Beat, I knew this was the one. This is either going to be a treat like Blood Rage, or I might have a conniption fit because it sounds fucking bonkers. Here we go. I am encouraged by the fact that writer-director Fabrice Ange Zafiritos Zafiritos? I think that's it. Did this movie and one other one before presumably choosing another line of work. Maybe the main reason I chose Blood Beat is because it takes place in Wisconsin at Christmas time, but also during hunting season. I feel like most people outside of the upper Midwest don't really realize how ingrained deer hunting is in the culture here. Central Montcalm High School, which is just up the road from me, a public high school, takes both opening day of bow season and opening day of gun season off because if they didn't, the front office phones would melt from the tsunami of calls excusing their kid for the day. Like 5 of those kids would show up. Opening day of gun season here in the woods sounds like Detroit in the late 70s. So Sarah has joined her boyfriend Ted and his family at their farm for Christmas. Everyone is fine until Sarah meets Ted's mom, and they have... it's weird. It's like a presumably psychic clash that doesn't get, like, explored or explained at all. But when they shake hands, the screen goes all psychedelic, and there's like a... that was like mixed way, way, way too loud in the sound. She reluctantly, Sarah that is, joins the family on a hunt, which I promise you is the most unrealistic thing to ever happen in a horror movie. If you're not down, if you're not interested, there is not a single hunter in Michigan, Wisconsin, Indiana, Ohio, or Minnesota that is even going to ask you if you're interested, much less invite you along with them. They'd sooner let you watch the Super 8 cassette that they keep in a shoebox under the bed than let you potentially fuck up their hunt. So, Sarah and Ted's mom is presumably psychic. Ted and his sister are so close that you doubt whether this takes place in Wisconsin or rural Alabama. Ted's mom is kind of like if Shelley Duvall was the one going around the bend in The Shining. The house has no TV, no video games, and not even really a well-loved copy of Parcheesi. Like in Sarah's place, I would leave this situation quicker than if I accidentally popped into a Turning Point USA meeting. Like, I'm real sorry, Charlie Kirk. I came here by mistake. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Bye. Oh, and Sarah, this is the best part. Sarah just found a full-ass set of samurai armor in a steamer trunk in the guest bedroom of her only 5-month boyfriend's family home in rural Wisconsin. No big. There's a random neighbor couple who get murdered because you can't do an 80s slasher without some superfluous killing. They're getting into bed, fully dressed, but also wearing bathrobes. And the dude has a mesh trucker hat on. In bed. At no point does he take it off. America. I can't be sure, but I think it's a Quality Farm and Fleet hat. Like, fuck the plot of this movie. The details and the choices that they made along the way are making this a very good movie. The samurai suit becomes sentient and starts menacing everyone.
Why not?
Right. While Sarah and Ted's mom are having a psychic battle and shit is flying all over the house, and there's just... oh, boys. Oh, there's a lot happening here. It turns out, what I'm about to say, I assure you, is true. It sounds like gibberish, but it's true. Turns out that Sarah is the samurai warrior reincarnated. Sure, fine, whatever. She sends mom and dad to that great Wisconsin dells in the sky. Ted and his sister awaken their psychic powers and defeat Sarah/samurai, all while O Fortuna plays.
Oh, okay, of course.
It's fucking something. It's all very Christmassy. There's actually more psychic characters in this film than there are non-psychic characters in this film.
That's interesting.
If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know, I don't know.
Sounds like a lot. I don't really remember this
like
now.
Like any good horror movie, the title has nothing to do with the story. The characters don't react the way any human being ever would. There's 2 main story things happening that have nothing to do with each other. There's a samurai in Wisconsin, and none of it, not a single stitch of any of this is properly explained. Here's the thing. The good. Holy shit, this movie's bonkers. This should be brought up anytime weird movies from the 80s are in the conversation. This is, for me personally, this is right there with like The Final Sacrifice and Troll 2 and Death Spa, and like maybe it's not nearly as good as Black Roses, but it's definitely a bizarre bit of fun. Also, Ted's sister spends the whole movie in a t-shirt, skimpy panties, and thigh-high socks.
Sexy.
Now, that is a look from the 80s that needs to make a comeback. Please and thank you. The bad. There's a little bit too much time spent on drawn-out shots of someone's face as they're looking pensive or confused or sad or thinking about their car's extended warranty. This movie hits you like a can of Tab soda psychically thrown at your face, which is something that actually happens. It gets a pass for sure, but definitely not for the reasons that Fabrice Ange Zafiratos probably wanted. I'll be back next week with the decently reviewed low-budget slasher sleaze movie All Through the House. Because nothing says Christmas like multiple castrations, which apparently happens in it. So until then, be good, everyone.
Thank you very much, Joseph. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas from Reverend Scott. Now, this was supposed to be played on next week's show, which is why... I don't know. Just listen. I know where you are.
We're like fucking Santa Claus. You just are like Super Santa Claus.
I am like Super Santa Claus. I am like Super Santa Claus.
When did I say that?
I don't know.
Weird.
Ho, ho, holy shit! With Reverend Scott.
Oh, you believe in Santa? You fucking dead.
Hey there, Bill and Chris. This is Reverend Scott. How'd you like the segment intro?
Sounded Christmassy.
Everything is Christmassy.
Well, it should, because this is the Christmas edition of Holy Shit, which is kind of like the normal edition, except I complain about Christmas more. And speaking of which, I was already tired of Christmas this year by November 1st.
Shit, that's early.
It's never too early to be pissed that spooky season just ended. And apparently it's never too late to tell me I have to suddenly do a Christmas segment a day after doing a regular segment.
I don't care.
But no worries, I have a literal library of sound clips from the last 13 years that I can use to assist myself in making this the best Christmas ever.
I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to murder women. I'm going to give abortions. I'm going to smack you with this dildo. I'm going to choke a bitch on a fucking roller coaster.
No, that's not what I meant.
Couple of shots of boobs and then a lot of hairy man ass.
I'm starting to think that neither one of you really understands what it means to talk about Christmas. You should both be talking about Christmas stuff, like baking cookies. How about you tell me your recipe for gingerbread cookies?
So you have a severed head, snake venom, freshly exhumed corpse, rice that has been applied to a woman's vagina, severed fingers, centipedes, human breast milk, blood, hair, and footprints trapped in mud.
Also, a nice slab of human bacon and frying it up. With the head.
With the head.
Yeah.
Smoked head.
Yes.
Yes.
I guess that does sound pretty good.
Yes.
So, Chris, what did you get Bill for Christmas this year?
A wreath of purple dildos. I thought that would go well. They were all on one switch, too, so when you turned it on, they would all vibrate at the same time.
And Bill, I heard you got me a Christmas calendar. Hasn't shown up yet, so maybe you could just kind of tell me what's on it.
Nuns having sex, organizing mass orgies, whipping each other for pleasure, sticking pastries into body holes for masturbation, and licking toilet bowls for fun.
Sounds pretty festive.
Gross.
Now, Chris, I heard Bill is giving you a choice between Terror on Tour on video cassette or Deathbed on DVD.
If I had to pick a movie to take with me on a desert island and it was Terror on Tour on video cassette and Deathbed on DVD, I would pick Deathbed because I could at least break it in half and cut my own throat with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good choice. And finally, there's my gift to you both, which is, of course, this Christmas edition of Holy Shit, the best gift of them all.
We don't want this.
Fuck off.
Aw, you're welcome, guys. So I hope you and yours have a very Merry Christmas. And as always, peace and love, guys.
First of all, happy holidays to everybody.
Hello, happy holidays. I'm going to say Merry Christmas because I'm allowed to say that again, and I'm really happy about it. And you're not going to stop me.
Well, you should wish everyone that celebrates Hanukkah a happy Hanukkah.
I'm not going to, because Christmas is the only holiday I care about, because that's what I celebrate.
Wow.
Wow.
Little Travis. All right, thank you guys very much for hanging out with us again this week. I'm expecting a phone call from my doctor any second, so I'm going to make it quick. Thank you guys. I hope everyone has a good holiday and has a good New Year's, and we will be back with our top 10 movies in 2 weeks. Next week's show is already in the can, so we're taking a little vacay. But we are doing the music show on the 29th. Well, I'm doing the music show on the 29th, so... Chris, anything you want to add real quick?
No.
All right, hey, everyone, enjoy the holiday season. Take care. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.